Hi, this is Lamia. In this piece, I experiment with layering and transparency. I hope you enjoy the process. It's super important that the layers be fused, so I'm putting on the first layer of encaustic medium. The wax must absorb and fuse into the materials that we use, as well as fuse to itself. So each layer really needs to be melted down until it's liquid, and then it becomes one with the layer below and above. So this is layer one of the encaustic medium. I always add this under every painting, and I'm fusing it now, and then I'll do the same thing, exact same thing again, put a second layer on and fuse that. Just so you know, I do speed up these fusing sections 8 times their normal speed, so it gives you an idea for how long it might take to fuse a layer. So this piece, I just put the second coat of encaustic medium on, and I'll try to show you what the finish looks like. It's get the light to shine. There we go. I got rid of as many bubbles as I could. I think I got most of them. And it's ready. I put a little thin layer on the edges as well to seal the board. And now what I'm going to do is create a piece that I'm going to teach to my encaustics class. We are not going to have a whole bunch of colors to work with. We're going to have the basics. I believe it's a primary red, a naphthol yellow, a ultramarine blue, and a burnt sienna. And I'm probably not going to use all of these colors, but I might use some of them. I'm also probably going to incorporate some of these pan pastels, which are really great pigments that you can smooth into the wax and then fuse. And I'm also going to incorporate some of this handmade paper, which I purchased. And I've got a few different pieces here. So it's going to be a fairly structured piece, but we'll play with layering the colors and the paper and just kind of see what we can do as far as layering and embedding goes and see what effect we can come up with. So I'm going to start with the pan pastels. And I think what I'll do, I'm not sure if I want to use the dark gold or the light gold. So I'll start with the light. That'll give me the option of adding more if I want. Okay, so I have these little finger cots, which I'm going to put on, and then grab this applicator sponge that comes with the pan pastels and apply this to the 2 layers of encaustic medium that are on the board. So I'll start with the light gold and just basically rub it on. I think I'll put it on the edges too. That way, you know, this is a thin board, it's not cradled, but it could still look nice on the wall just by itself without a frame, or it could look really great embedded in one of those open frames. It's hard to describe. You kind of just, it's a cradled frame almost, and then you put this inside of it, and there'll be like a 1-inch gap around the edge. I'm not sure if I'm describing that adequately, but it has a really neat effect, like the board is floating in the middle of the frame. So this is going on. It's really neat to apply. It's going on really smoothly. This stuff is really creamy. I really like using it, and I'm dying to get some more colors to try them out. These, I only have these 3, and they're the what are they called? The metallics. So they have every color you can imagine and different sets, like you know, a set for painting oceans and a set for brilliant colors and a set for forests. So you can pretty much get anything you need. So I don't know if this is showing up on the camera, but this is adding a real nice, very delicate patina to the wax. And I'll pick it up. If you tip it, it's going to have that shine that you get from these metallic pen pastels. I'm trying to get it at the right angle so you can see it. Okay, you can kind of see that. So it's a really neat look. Kind of subtle. So we'll start with that, and I'm going to just fuse that into the wax. Okay, get rid of this little finger cut, and now the next step is going to be to add these strips in a frame around the edge of this piece. So I cut a few that seem like they should fit fairly well. I think it's this pile here. So what I'll do is put them in place, and I could heat this up a little more on the edges, and that way it'll stick in place as I lay it down. So of course I may want to pick it up and move it, adjust it a little. So it's warm but not hot. Today's kind of a warm day too, so standing here with this this griddle next to me with my paints on it, and this hot wax, and definitely a little warm, but beautiful, sunny out. That's all that matters. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's actually what I like about painting, is that I kind of just don't go for perfectionism or realism at all. But so then I'll just take some of my encaustic medium, try to give you a look at my griddle the way I have it set up over here. I have, okay, right here is my encaustic medium, which is just the, I actually purchased this. It's the RNF encaustic medium, which is made from purified beeswax and a Damar resin. This is my ultramarine blue, which is part of the color palette that I'm going to be using for my class. And then I've got the red and the naphthol yellow and a little bit of burnt sienna, which I will just take, if I decide to use them, I'm not sure yet. I'll just take them and make a little puddle of wax right on the griddle, which is heated to 200 degrees, and I make sure it doesn't go over 200 degrees with this little thermometer, just to keep things safe so they're not causing fumes that I don't want to be breathing. Okay, back to here. Right. So now what I'll do is take my hockey brush and put some of this encaustic medium right onto the tissue paper, and then we'll fuse it and it will be embedded. So now I'll take my heat gun and fuse that on. Actually, because it's heating up not only the wax that I put on top, but obviously the wax that's underneath, you can see it grabbing the paper. And the light gold pan pastel just gives it such a neat look. As I'm heating that again in places where I've applied a little more heat, it's starting to split apart and make a really neat, almost cracked effect. Wow, that has such a neat look to it. You can also get a feeling for how the paper looks. You can see the threads in the handmade paper. I cut these 4 pieces of paper out of some bag of scraps that I bought at Dick Blick's art supply store, and they're about the same size. I really like this piece because it has variation in its thickness, and it'll be really neat to see how some of the wax might work, showing through that. I put them maybe in this type of arrangement, something like that. And then underneath each one, I'll have some different treatment of this board under each one. As you can see from, if I can get it in the right angle, there, what's already on there, the pen pastel light gold, really looks cool. So I'm just going to play around with this. Other than what I've just shown you, I really don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to have fun with it. So what I did is I took a little ultramarine and mixed it with the red, and then I added a little bit of titanium white, and I think that kind of makes a nice complement for this piece, which is by far the strongest color in there so far. So underneath I'll take, this is the darker pen pastel, grab some of this. Oops. And kind of make a outline right here. It's so cool the way it splits apart. As you heat it up, it separates the pigment, and you see the white, the lighter gold in the background. It's really neat. So that's going to go on top, and then under that I want some colors to show through, so I'm going to just kind of put this on roughly where the flowers are, but again, nothing's exact. Heat that, and that's going to obviously blend and over. It's going to run over. It's not going to stay in its one little place. There. Okay, now I can kind of plop that on top. We'll get an idea of how things will end up looking, something like that. Okay, so when that gets, I'm going to put some clear wax over that, but not just yet. It's obviously going to change its appearance just like this paper did on the edges here. So, and I think what I'll do is take a little bit more of this darker gold and just put it right across the edges. So let's see what happens with that. That's one treatment. Ah, that's what it is. So you look at it from one angle, it's blue, and you look at it from the other, and it's a fuchsia, which looks like it matches that other piece of paper that I have going on. So cool. Oh. Don't want to gouge that too much. Okay, so that's in. Then this one. It's very geometric, so I guess we'll keep it that way. Okay, and then I'll fuse and even out once we put the next layer on top. Very cool. All right, blend that in a little bit more in a second. All right, so now I'll take that. This looks delicious. I always think, oh, this is beautiful. I always think this is just
so tasty looking for some reason. I guess luscious would be the word. I'm not sure why, but
So at this point, I decided that the flowers on this handmade paper were not showing through very much, so I decided to go over them with a little bit of the dark gold pen pastel and added a little touch up of the lighter gold, infused that. Then my camera wasn't running, so the middle section, or the part that is missing here, is that I had cut a piece of mint colored foil and placed that in the center. And then I went around each of the squares with a little bit of the Pearl X Sunset Gold powder, which kind of gave the impression that there was some depth to this piece. It almost looks like there's a little bit of a shadow around each square, and that the mint square in the middle is kind of floating above the others. So then I sealed it up with a little more encaustic medium on the edges and dusted that with a little more Pearl X, Sunset Gold Pearl X. And that's it. It's done. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Thank you so much for watching and watching the whole process. Thanks.